Ragazzi, faremo un bel viaggetto.
Un viaggetto?
Vacanza!
E Bonnie è stata benissimo a scuola. Si è fatta un nuovo amico. Amici, vi presento Forky. Ciao!
So, Toy Story 3 felt like the perfect ending to the saga, especially for people who grew up along with the franchise, like me.
Yeah.
So what made you decide that there was still room to tell another story?
Yeah, it's a great question, and we thought long and hard about that because I agree that ending is so beautiful and lyrical, and but what really was the germ of the idea was the discussion that that's really emotional and powerful because it's Andy, right? Andy leaving, and the real truth of Toy Story, the protagonist is Woody. And so we just sat and wondered, like, well, what's Woody going to do now? Each of the films has ended with a little bit of an implied future. And so we thought, well, wouldn't maybe, as great as the first three films were, wouldn't it be interesting to take Woody and show what that is? Not just imply it, but literally show it. And this clearly can't last forever. So even though that he's with Bonnie, it's a good chance it's not going to be the same. And that is what gave us, that was our first foothold into, like, well, what if we dramatized that? What if we showed him struggle with something he's never struggled with, which is his place in the world. He's always known his place in the world, but now we could show a little bit of a different Woody. And that felt movie-worthy to us. You know, it took a long time to write and craft, but that felt like the nugget of truth we were after.
Mi usano per la zuppa, l'insalata, magari con il chili, ma non sono un giocattolo. Sono spazzatura! Libertà!
So, and in Toy Story 4, there is another character who's struggling with his place in the world, who is Forky,
Yes.
who's not your typical toy. What can you tell us about him?
Yeah, Forky, he is not your typical toy. He's the first handmade toy in the Toy Story world, and we love Forky because he doesn't know the rules. He doesn't know the rules of the world. He doesn't care. He doesn't understand why he's even alive, and yet, if you're loved by a child and made into a toy, you're a toy. And so he becomes the most important toy to Bonnie, and Woody's sense of purpose kind of shifts onto him. And it's really fun kind of watching him be in a little bit of an existential crisis on not knowing who he is or his place in the world, and slowly watching that evolve into understanding. That felt fun to us.
And what do you think Forky can tell kids, nowadays kids, considering that, you know, he's handmade,
Yeah.
and nowadays kids are always playing also with, you know, digital toys.
Right. I hope Forky's a little bit of a return to creativity for kids, that true toy and true play is in creating something, making things. I mean, that's what I'm lucky enough to get to do for a living. That's what I loved. My kids are kind of artists and always drawing, and I think that is still very much alive, and I hope Forky amplifies that a little bit.
We're also gonna see a character we already loved, Bo Peep.
Bo Peep.
But it's a new version of her, so she has changed a lot. So
Yeah.
she has gone through some kind of evolution. What can you tell us about this new version?
Yeah, we sort of think of her as Toy Story's first realist, right? So she disappears in the third film, and we've never explained why. And we thought, well, we should. Obviously, Woody cares deeply for her, and they have this great relationship. But where did she go, and what happened? And Woody, for the first three films, all he talks of Big Sphere as being a lost toy. So what is that really like? And it turns out we get to reveal that through Bo Peep. So she's been in the world. She knows this doesn't last forever, unlike Woody, who kind of, in a way, is in denial. We think of her as, of all the change Woody's gone through, this is his biggest. We talked about it this way. If you asked Woody at the end of all the films, if you knew him theoretically, and if you met him, you'd say, what's the biggest thing that ever happened to you? His answer would be meeting Bo Peep for the second time. That's how much impact she has. So reverse engineering from that, we needed to show that she had changed, that she had figured out how to navigate the world, that she knew things that none of the other toys did. So she had to become the smartest character in the saga. And we're very proud of how we've written her and crafted her and even designed her to echo those things.
I loved her, by the way.
Thank you.
So yeah, thank you.
Well, he knows what I mean.